Welcome to Homemade Money with Bethany Williams and Jack King today. And I also want to introduce you to Milo. Milo, look at the camera over here. Okay, look at the camera. She's just like my kids. She never pays attention. Hi, and welcome to our show today where we're going to talk about horrible bosses, people that divert you from your life mission, and things that get in your way of living your dreams. I'm Bethany Williams, mother of 3. Yes, I lived through 3 amazingly wonderful children, and 2 dogs. Whoop, where'd the other one go? But we're here today with Jack King, who's a consultant and has written 2 books, and we're going to talk about horrible bosses and people that divert us from our life mission. So we got a lot of truckers watching the show and their wives at home. I liked the story about your boss. So tell me about your worst story with your horrible boss.
Yeah, this is one when looking back, I think of this situation as this guy was the Mark Spitz of bad bosses. Whoever was in second place, you know, couldn't even see him in the water. This is one in a nutshell where by innocently revealing that 2 senior executives were married.
In the same company.
In the same company.
They were married to each other.
And yeah,
Wow.
and there was no corporate guidelines that said that was, you know, wrong. Mm-hmm. They both happened to be out on a family vacation. And I had a major account that they were supposed to be doing a new project for. And so in replying back to my contact, I simply said that, you know, that they were out on a vacation and they'd be back the following week.
Understandable.
But the president went crazy when he found out that I had revealed that the 2 were married.
So he wanted to keep it a secret.
For whatever reason. I don't know if he thought that, you know, that the industry would think less of them because they had 2 senior executives married.
Probably.
I don't know if he thought that it was just not appropriate. I don't know if he thought it was a corporate secret, you know, whatever. But he literally had me walk outside so nobody could hear, and he started saying, "Mother," fill in the blank. His face was that close to mine, spittle was hitting my face. I mean, he went on for 10 minutes. He must have said that, the MF, 100 plus times. He was beyond enraged. And I'm sitting there thinking, man, I really need this job. Do I deck him? You know, do I just take this? And I'm sitting there watching his face. I mean, analyzing, just watching. And this guy was going crazy. He was going nuts. And finally, a friend of his that was doing remodeling on the building next door that he had bought happened to be walking up, and if he finally calmed down and got a hold of himself. And what's so odd is the very next morning, the same man was just friendly.
Like nothing had happened. Right. Because I think what people bring to work is all of their baggage and all of the stuff that's going on, and they just spill it on the people at work.
Yeah, you know, the thing of it is that, you know, we have an audience of, you know, truckers, and, you know, they're entrepreneurs. Many of them want to have their own businesses. Their wives may want to have their own businesses. And, you know, they're going to face situations where they have people that are obstacles.
Yep.
Or they may have situations where they got someone that's really being a bully. And you know, they've got to adopt smart stratagems to be able to deal with that.
And most of us are better dealing with it with our kids, but then when it happens to us, we don't know what to do.
That's exactly right. You know, the mama bear comes out, you know, when someone, you know, comes after your kid, and don't cross the mother, but it happens to you, and you're saying, what do I do?
What do I do? Because we're vulnerable. I had a lady at work one time. I was in a professional office. She sat me down, and she was in a higher level position. She was very powerful, and she looked me right in the eye, and she said, "I don't like you." And I said, "What? Is this something about my work? Is there something I need to improve? Is there something I need to change?" And she said, "This doesn't have to do with your work. I don't like you personally." And I was aghast. I was the only person working in my household. I support my children. I was starting to feel that panic that you feel like you said, I need this job. I was starting to feel that was kind of rising up in my chest. And she said, you've got to leave. And I said, I can't leave. I need the job. I'm working for a paycheck. I need to work here. And she goes, you don't understand. If you decide to stay here, it will be like death by 1,000 cuts. You will slowly bleed to death. And I'll make sure it happens. And she got up and walked out of the room. And I felt like a 2-year-old that had just been slapped in the face. I literally broke down and bawled. And I'm not an emotional person at work. But that pressure feeling of I'm a single mom, I've got to provide for my kids, and this person does not want me here and has the political power to make my life miserable. It was horrible. I lost 10 pounds in 7 days. I couldn't eat, I couldn't sleep. I was trying to find out what my other options were. I had rolled all my retirement monies there, and so financially I had so much invested. But what do you advise people when they're up against something like that?
Well, you know, first of all, when you're in a situation where someone has power over you, it's not like schoolyard bullies. You know, I had schoolyard bullies in elementary school and junior high, and got in a lot of fights, and I won every one of them. I mean, I got to where bullies left me alone. Well, you can't physically fight.
Right.
You know, in your job, in your profession, in your company.
Yep.
And so you got to be smarter and tougher. You know, I would say point one is, you know, you need to carefully analyze the situation. You know, if it's a situation that you're working for a big company, then number one, I would try to be the best employee I possibly could. Hunker down.
Just
you know, be better than you've ever been before.
Yep.
Number two, don't be stoic, but you want to be cool, calm, and collected. You know, when you're facing that person or that situation, you've got to have it all together.
Yeah, I was never good at that.
Yeah, and third thing is take copious notes on when situations happen. You want to take detailed notes on, you know, the date, time, all of that kind of stuff. You just never know when that ammunition may come in handy.
Right, when you might need it. Secret notes.
Exactly. And the last thing is, you know, make allies of people that may have been mistreated by the same person within the company.
Yep. We're going to take a quick break. You're watching Homemade Money right here on CFF Nation. And when you come back, we're going to talk about the people that are keeping you from starting your company or making money at home. Stay tuned.